Hello everyone, it's Tana and welcome back to the channel and another video for the Not Too Shabby shop. Today we're going to use, I believe this is called Pup in a Cup. It's got all these cute sentiments that you can mix and match, and we're going to use a couple of them today. We're going to make 2 cards, not one. I was able to squeeze 2 cards into a 10-minute video. It's a little short of 10 minutes. So first I'm just going to stamp these out. The first one I stamped the entire image and put it in the lower right hand corner of the card front. This second one I'm going to use the pup only, and we're not going to use the cup. And I'm making a mask for my bow here. I just wanted to show you guys how I stamped it in what order really quick, in case you don't know how to stamp in quote unquote layers with masking. But I don't end up using her. I turned her into a girl, and I ended up stamping another one because Jax did something that day, and it made me think of him as a little troublemaker, so I did a boy puppy. Moving on, we're just going to color this little pup real quick, and then that's all the coloring for the rest of the video. I used a set of, I think they're Hazy Mauves, Nouveau marker set for the bow, and then I used some W's, Warm Grays Copic colors for the puppy itself, and then a little bit of E, I believe, for the muzzle on the pup. I did not put the Copic numbers up there, but if you need to know what colors I use, just comment below and I'll let you know. So it's weird, my voice goes in and out. Whenever I quit smoking, or I'm trying to quit smoking, I lose my voice for periods of time. So excuse that, because I don't sound like myself. It's also the yelling, like I said in the last video. Yelling at the kids can cause me to lose my voice for a short period of time. So we had some really warm days here, and then I spoke of a really huge storm that we got. And along with that storm came some really cold weather that we've had for 2 days now. There's my pups and cups all finished. And I brought out the Picnic Fun stamp set from the, I believe, March release. And I'm going to stamp out 2 of the picnic tables and a couple of the party garland. But I did not use the party garland, and I only ended up using 1 picnic table. And I took this piece of pattern paper out of the Echo Park Easter paper pad. I think that was from last Easter, not this past Easter. And the colors matched really well with the dots I colored on the cup. That was not planned. I just happened to find a piece of pattern paper that went really well. And I colored that brown middle because I wanted it to look like the cardboard holder on a to-go cup of coffee. And then I'm stamping out Happy Birthday, which is on the Pup in a Cup stamp set. I stamped it out in Catherine Pooler's Something Borrowed, and I did that twice. And if you look real close, this one's a little blurry. I ended up remaking it, restamping it out, and heat embossing it all over again. And I put that stamped sentiment onto another piece of the pattern paper. So after I adhered that to the panel, the entire front panel itself is popped up on foam tape, but everything on the panel is glued or one-dimensional, except for the little bit of crystal glaze that I put on there, and wait till you see this. So I had to poke this with a pin. Apparently I didn't do it well enough, because that little dot up in the upper left hand corner, I was squeezing out the crystal glaze and all of a sudden all over my cup. So it cleaned up easily enough because I got to it with my finger fast enough. And then I added another sentiment from the Pup in a Cup that said, "For someone sweet." So moving on to the second card, here I'm going to show you that I was actually fussy cutting those tables out. Here, let me tell you real quick. I'm using tumbled glass Distress Oxide and a cloud stencil from Heffy Doodle. And my blue looks darker than it should because apparently I never cleaned the darker blue off of the blending brush. So, and you see that big hump in the clouds up there? I end up going over that again because I didn't like that. So anyway, I was fussy cutting my picnic tables, and I actually cut straight through the seat on that picnic table because I fell asleep. Yes, I passed out standing up at my desk while fussy cutting at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But I was determined to use that one because that was the one I liked better. I used mowed lawn and, oh, it's eluding me. Why can't I remember the name of that one? The lighter green Distress Oxide. And I wanted it to have texture, but I didn't want to use water, so I used some of the Lime Ricky Reinker from the Catherine Pooler inks. And I used that on the panel that I cut the Grassy Hills out of. I used the Grassy Hills dies from MFT to cut those out. One's glued flat to the card. The other's going to be popped up on a very thin piece of foam tape. And here we're going to actually cut our umbrella off. And I drew little lines there so it would look like it was broken off. And then I'm just going to edge those off, or color the edges with black marker. And then our pup's going to be sitting inside of the umbrella top with his paws hanging out like, oops, look what I did. So yeah, that rain brought some really cold weather. And it's still cold. And I'm considering 61 to 68 cold. It was in the 90s and then it just dropped. I want my warm weather back, people. Now here I show you that I cut off the stem of the umbrella because the pup would have covered it. He would have been too big. So I cut off the umbrella stem and just glued it a little higher up so you could still see it behind his head. And then I just had to place a piece of foam tape on his head because that would have been needed to be popped up off of the base. And then the bottom half of the umbrella was glued straight to the grass. I'm just going to use some double-sided adhesive on the back of this panel and glue it straight to a gray card base. And now I'm going to use a piece of black, I believe this is Ellen Hudson 100-pound black cardstock, and some Hero Arts white embossing powder, super fine white embossing powder. And I'm going to use 2 sentiments, one from the Picnic Fun, which I think says, "Hey Cutie Pie." Yep, and the other one which says, "Hang in there." And the "hang in there" is from the Pup in a Cup stamp set. So I heat embossed those, and then I wiped my black cardstock off with a wet cloth, slightly damp, to get all the excess powder off. And here I'm showing you that I did my very best to try and cut straight, because I didn't have any sentiment strip dies that were the size I needed. So I did my best to cut those straight. We're going to pop those up with foam tape. And "Hey Cutie Pie" is going to go in the upper left corner. And then "Hang in there" is going to go in the bottom right. And then I thought it looked too plain. So I added some swirly clouds. It's a swirly cloud die from Whimsy Stamps. And that's it, guys. Here's some pictures of the 2 cards that we made tonight. Well, you'll see it tomorrow morning. And I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to check out Jamie's shop. I'll have a coupon code down below and some restrictions apply. And we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye for now.